Fake news has been in the news. We first spoke of it as a nuisance. It has now become a full-fledged security nightmare, one of the greatest threats to democracy in the digital age. Fake news is rampant. It's a global menace. The sheer size of it is daunting, and we still don't have proper means to curb it, much less punish those who spread it. For way too long, the world counted on tech companies to do the needful to curb fake news on their platforms. Some of them are struggling, most of them are lying, and all of them are doing precious little about it. So now governments are waking up. After all, ensuring security is a government's job, and Sri Lanka, we can tell you, is leading by example. The small island nation is mulling stringent laws to fight fake news. It has learned the hard way. After the gruesome terror attack in April, fake news created a lot of panic in Sri Lanka. It led to communal violence. The Sri Lankan authorities were helpless. They had no tools to fight. They had no way to tackle this threat. So on Wednesday, the Sri Lankan cabinet approved a proposal, a stringent set of rules that carry hefty punishment for those who spread fake news. Here's what the new law says. The guilty will face a 5-year jail term plus a big fine, up to 1 million Sri Lankan rupees. That translates to nearly 4 lakh Indian rupees. And it's a much-needed legislation. Sri Lanka has seen an epidemic of fake news. In April this year, the country was rocked by multiple bomb blasts on Easter. More than 250 people were killed. The Islamic State took responsibility for the attack. Within days, the Sri Lankan government blocked social media and messaging apps. It was a 9-day ban. Facebook and WhatsApp in particular were blocked. The idea was to control the flow of information and to curb misinformation. But the ban was not foolproof. Rumors still trickled. Doctored images and fake news stories soon started spreading. Hate messages targeting the Muslim community were seen. In particular, angry mobs later attacked several people in Sri Lanka. And so the government is finally acting. Countries like Singapore, Russia, France, Germany and Malaysia have already have in place strict laws against misinformation, but the platforms that can act most effectively have failed. Tech companies like Google, Facebook and Twitter, those who make these modern-day communication tools, have failed to regulate their own platforms. It is this failure that has sparked the need for laws and regulation. Let's talk about India. We are very late to this party. Our legal system is ill-equipped to tackle this menace of fake news. It's not like concerns have not been raised. Earlier this year, we can tell you, a petition was filed in the Supreme Court. This petition called for laws against fake news. The court refused to entertain a plea. The petitioner had called on the Ministers of Home Affairs, Law, Information and Broadcasting and IT. It sought a committee to tackle fake news on social media. Nothing happened. The Indian government, in fact, has been slow on this front. No substantial steps have been taken to frame a full-fledged law against fake news. Some piecemeal attempts have been made, yes. In the first tenure of the Modi government, the Information and Broadcasting Ministry under Smriti Irani tried to bring in some rules. The order was controversial. It called for punishment against journalists for fake news. The Prime Minister himself overruled her. The order was later withdrawn, and that's where the story rests. It shouldn't.